Hello everyone, welcome to another video for this lesson. We are into repetition structure. In one part of the repetition structure has a category regarding count control loops. So we're going to discuss about for loop for today, and for loop is best used for this situation. For anything count control loop, it iterates for a specific number of times. So what you can see on my screen would be the pseudocode syntax of a for statement. You have an initialization test and increment expression that controls the loop. How does it look like when it comes to a flowchart? Let's say I would like to display hello world 5 times. I would have my declaration on this part. I need to have a counter because I need to track how many times I need to run my program or run the loop itself. I'm using a constant variable called max value, and I have that as 5. Why 5? I would like to display hello world 5 times. I'm initializing my counter to 1, and I'm using a rectangle, which is my assignment statement, and I have 1 as a starting point. So remember, you have 3 parts for your count controlled using for loop. You have your initialized value. For this one, we have 1. We have test or condition. We have counter less than or equal to max value. When you see it in a flow chart, it's very easy to see that, that less than equal to max value. That's your condition itself. But if you're going to see it on a pseudocode, the structure itself is quite different. Okay, so this one, the flowchart, this is the pseudocode, they're the same. So it gives you another demonstration, regarding that. But let me go back to this flowchart so you can see it graphically. Okay, so I'm using for loop that can display hello world 5 times. You could increment or you could decrement, but for this example I am going to increment by 1. So set counter equals 1 is 1 less than or equal to max value, which is 5. That is true. It goes on the right, displays hello world 1 time, goes here, adds 1 to counter, so my counter becomes 2. It goes up here, is 2 less than or equal to max value, which is 5. That is true. Displays hello world 2nd time. Next is add 1 to counter. Now, notice that this part here on the remark section or the increment and decrement, that can vary. It can be an increase of a value or a decrease of a value depending on the condition that you have on your diamond symbol. But since I use a less than symbol in here, makes sense that I need to increase that to kind of reach your 5, which is the maximum value. So this one will display and continue to loop 5 times because you included equal to for the condition. Less than equal to 5. Now, if you would like to stop at 4, you can remove the equal sign and you could have it less than 5. So that means it's not going to include 5 for that. It's going to display hello world 4 times. Okay? Now moving forward for this example, I'm going to show you another demonstration, but for this one, it's going to compute odd numbers from 1 to 11. Okay? Now, if you can notice in here, we all know how to count odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. How are we going to do that into a pseudocode? I have my declaration on line 2. I have a constant variable max value. I put 11 here. Okay? Why? Because I want to include 11. So 1 through 11. I have line 8 and 9, actually 8, 9, and 10 would be my for loop. Okay? So let me explain again what are the different parts of your for loop. You have initialized value, which is 1. You have test or condition. You notice that there's a word 2 here. So this one signifies for counter less than equal to max value, which is 11. For a pseudocode, it looks quite different, but that's what it means. Now, I also have here step 2. So you might be thinking, how come on the other examples found on your supplement book, how come I did not see that step 2? Because that is embedded already on your pseudocode. It's automatic. If you're increasing by 1, you do not see the step 2. Okay? What's the example? Let's say I would like to have 1 to 10. That is increasing by 1. It has the same condition that you see in here, right? But you don't see the word step 1 because it's increasing by 1. But if it's increasing by a different number or decreasing more than 1, you need to have that step because you're increasing by a different number. So for this example, we're going to go through displaying odd numbers from 1 through 11. Okay? So first things first, you have your declaration. Is 1 less than or equal to 11? Is that true or false? True. What happens next? If it's a for loop, it goes down to line 9. Display counter. What's the value of my counter? 1. Where did I get that? That's the value that was initialized. Okay? Now after this line 9, it goes here on this step 2. Okay? It's like having a circle, right? So it loops step 2. What does that mean? That means I'm incrementing my counter to 2. So what was the original value? 1. You're adding 2. What will be the value? 3. After that, so you need a pen and paper to kind of track it down. So you have 3, right? It goes back here, this section. For counter 3, it's not 1 anymore, right? For counter 3 to 11, that means counter 3 less than or equal to 11. Is that true or false? True. It goes down, display the counter. What's the value of my counter? 3. Okay? Next one, it goes here again on the side, step 2. So my counter 3, you add 2, it becomes 5. Goes back here, is counter less than equal to 5, which is, less than or equal to 11. 5 counter less than or equal to 11 because of the max value. Is that true or false? True. Goes down to line 9, displays 5, right? Goes here to step 2, you're adding 2 to counter, that becomes what? 7. Goes back to your loop. Is 7 less than or equal to 11? True. Goes down, display counter, which is 7. So notice this is going to perform those statements until it hits 11. Now, let's say it's 11. Is 11 less than or equal to 11? Is that true or false? True. Goes down, display 11. Goes up here on step 2, you're adding 2 to 11, it becomes 13 now. Goes back to your loop. Is 13 counter less than or equal to max value 11? Is 13 less than or equal to 11? The answer is false. What will happen next? It goes out of your loop. Why? It did not satisfy the condition. So that is very important for you to take a look because pseudocode on a for statement looks quite different. And it's like kind of going circles in here. If the increment or decrement is more than 1, then you would see that word step. If it's just incrementing by 1, it's automatic. It's somehow embedded in your program, okay? On a pseudocode. I'm talking about your, even if it's an actual code. Actually, it looks different, but I want you to get the logic or the reasoning behind that. So I'll see everybody on the next video. I hope you find this example useful. And that's all for today.